Okay, welcome to the call today. This is Jon and Lori Ann. I call it the Jon and Lori Ann show. When I'm talking about it to other people, I'm like, yeah, come see the Jon and Lori Ann show. It's called Brainpower Breakthroughs. And
Yes.
we are here. Jon is on such a journey right now, and we have been gathering information from him and his expertise about success for teens in business or in whatever opportunities they're in their lives right now. And today we're going to talk a little bit more about what Jon is experiencing, what he's going through, and I think that will help you understand why we're here, why we're doing this, and how powerful it is to get this information out of Jon and his expertise so that we can share it with teens. And it has been, our audience has kind of grown to a bigger audience of parents and other
Hmm.
people. So I know today, Jon, that you've got some important things to share with us. So excited to hear what it is.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Lori Ann. I appreciate that. I thought about what I wanted to share today, and so I've been going through some books that I've worked with and with in my coaching practice and everything, and one of them that I thought I looked up at it and so I thought, what would be cool today is if we could talk about you can't control what happens to you, only your reactions to what has happened. And I think about my journey that I am on. Okay. Um, those of you that don't know me personally, um, I have, I'll be the first one to tell you I've lived a pretty blessed life. Um, my wife and I have had successful businesses. We have raised beautiful children. I have four great grandchildren that are just the highlight of my existence. Um, but um, through the journeys of my life, and I will tell you, I mean, when I say blessed, I mean blessed. Okay. Um, I've shared with some people that I've been to places that I thought only existed on a postcard.
Wow.
They were that beautiful.
Wow.
I've experienced life at a level I could only dream of.
Mm.
I have been honored to be a part of some very significant coaching platforms and speaking platforms out there. I was part of John Maxwell's coaching and speaking team. I've been part of Darren Hardy's high performance forum. Um, I've done a speakers workshop with Larry Winget, who I just think is a riot, but he's also a very smart guy. Um, so I have been blessed to work with. I did some work with Jim Rohn. I did work with Zig Ziglar. I did, um, you know, and I've learned through the process of working with these people. Count your blessings.
Wow.
Consider yourself very blessed. Don't look at the things that go on in your life and blanket that one little thing that happened last Friday. Some of us are going to ride off the whole week because of what happened that afternoon, that one little point in time on Friday. My question to you is this: why do you ruin the rest of the week because of that one moment?
Mm.
It's the reaction. It's not what happens to us, it's our reaction of what happens to us. I'm fighting cancer. Okay. I could have written that off 5.5 months ago. and looked at it as, all right, this is my death sentence. This is how it's going to be. Yada, yada, yada. I mean, just blah, 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 blah. You know, how many times have we seen our friends do that? Blah, 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 blah. And you sit there and look at them and you go, really? You're going to look at it in that way, huh? Okay. So, what I want to share with you today is I didn't do that with this prognosis. I said, okay, then I'm going to take every day God gives me, every single day that God gives me, and I'm going to cherish it. And I'm going to do whatever I can to make that the best day I can possibly make it. And I want to share my time that I have with friends and family members and people like you, that we get the opportunity to share our experiences with others to help maybe guide them into having a really good life as well. And I love the fact that that's the direction, that Brainpower Breakthroughs wants to go in, is, not focus so much on how we react or what actually did happen to us, but how do we react to this? Do we stay strong? Do we stay bold? Do we stay confident? I will tell you, that's the route I chose. And I can promise you, it's why I'm still alive right now. I promise you that. So if we can get to the point where we don't focus so much on what happened, but okay, how am I going to do things now?
Yeah.
How am I going to live out this time frame now? And when we can look at that and go, I'm going to do the best I can with what I've got. I'm going to share the highlights of my life in hope that someone can learn from it and create those highlights in their lives. I've been honored to help many, many, many people in my life create good business, create a good life, create a good, sorry, I have a gnat in front of me. Get over. Oh, there he goes. Okay. But like I was saying, I've been honored to be able to share some of my experience with some really cool people and watch them, instead of wallowing in what happened, watch them grow out of it and create what they truly want to create from that experience. And I will tell you, when you create from experience, and I've always told my wife, Amy, I said, when you ask with a sincere heart, when you really get to the point where you are ready to just say, I am coming with a sincere heart, I ask, I will tell you the universe is going to bend over backwards in 28 different directions to help you figure out how to make that happen. And I say that because I've experienced it. So my suggestion is this. Consider one thing. These things that happen to us, they're only a moment in time.
Yeah.
And most generally, they're not very big moments. Now, some of us have bigger ones, and I get that. I understand. I'm not playing that down. But this works with that as well. It doesn't matter how big that moment is. Excuse me, mine's been pretty big. Okay. But I look at it as this because I don't want to fixate on how big this is. I want to fixate on what can I do to make it better than ever. And Lori Ann reached out to me and she says, "Hey, you want to do a podcast?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah." And we've had a blast ever since. And I hope everybody that's been on our shows and has listened to us, I hope you've all had a chance to learn something from us. Um, don't forget, by the way, if you have questions, and I know some of you do, if you're a parent of a young adult, if you're a young adult or a teenager, there's questions out there. Trust me, because I've had my share of questions growing up. Put them in the comments, or if you go to the show notes, you'll see our email addresses.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you don't want someone to know your name, I get it. Don't worry about it. We don't market your information, none of that stuff. But send us an email and ask us your questions. That's what we're here for. We want to help you. When I was working with Jim Rohn, one of the first things he taught me, he says, "Here's the question for you. You've got this dilemma." We all have them. We do. We all have these things that we question, that we wonder about, all that kind of stuff. He goes, "Do you want to learn on your own and struggle to try and figure this all out? Or do you want to learn from somebody that's already been through it, made the mistakes that you'll make, figured out what the answers are, and can get you there quicker without going through all the hassle?"
Yeah, sign me up.
Hello, no kidding. Where's my sign form? I am on board 100% for that. I have made more mistakes than I care to admit in life. I don't want to do them again.
Right.
So, absolutely, let's learn from each other. And in this today, um, you know, don't get so fixated on what happened. Get fixated on how you can respond to it, grow from it, grow beyond it,
Right.
learn and excel forward, and totally enjoy the outcome that you can create. We've shared about that before in our show. The choice is yours. You can create the life you want. Same thing when things happen. I'm creating the future I want with this. And I will tell you, I'm enjoying every doggone day of it. Every one of them. One of the quotes I wanted to share with you was a quote by Viktor Frankl. Where do I got it? Got it up here somewhere. Here it is. So Victor said, between stimulus and response, there's a space. That space is our power to choose our response.
Hmm.
And in our response lies our growth and our freedom. That's a choice. Our choice to choose our growth and our freedom. And I thought, you know, it is so true that, when we dictate how do we want to truly show up in the midst of whatever's going on out here, okay? It is a choice. And it's a choice that we get to make, that we get to control. And I don't know about you, but if I've got a choice of controlling something, I would just soon control that to be something fun, something enjoyable in my life, something that allows me to grow, to become stronger. And in doing so, it allows us to live a much happier life, regardless of our circumstances. I have so enjoyed my time with my family and my friends and my colleagues and all that. And I could have thrown that away had I taken a different response when I found out about this. I am really glad I didn't.
I'm really glad you didn't too. It reminds me of a picture that I saw, a meme saw the other day. And there's a lady and she's walking and she's bent over like this and she's got a big rock on her back. And the rock is divided into 3 sections: past,
Mm-hmm.
present, and future.
Yeah.
And then under the meme, it says, sometimes you need to just let go. And on the next page, you see a big piece of the rock that's the past. And she's got her foot on it now, just kind of resting on it. And the other foot is standing up. And then she's holding a piece of the rock that says present. And there's a piece of the rock in front of her that says future.
Yes.
And so she's got that one foot, tapped on the past, and then the other foot walking towards the future. But all you really have right now is the present. This
Yes.
moment right now is such a gift. And as you're
Mm-hmm.
speaking about this, I love coming here every single day and being with you, and on the days that, we get to be together and hear what you have to say, because we have this moment right now.
Yeah.
Share whatever we can to be whoever we choose to be, and drop that past, drop that rock. I'm not saying it's easy, because they
Yeah.
are boulders. They're huge, sometimes boulders that, we have been carrying, and we can drop that, hold just this moment right here as a
Mm-hmm.
gift.
Yes.
That's why it's called the present.
Yes.
And that future is tomorrow, and not having to worry about that.
Yeah.
And bringing ourselves in alignment with that gives us this real gift to share with people.
Yes, it does.
I love what you're doing. And so even in your present days, when you're trying to be present, I realize there's the ups and downs in the day. You have to rest. You
Oh,
have
yeah.
to take care. I know after you get finished with this, your wife's told me you like sleep for 3 hours
Yeah.
because this wears you out. You know, what a gift that you're giving us in this moment.
Well, I will tell you that it starts by rising me up.
Mhm.
This elevates me coming into our sessions because I so look forward to being on air with you, sharing our experiences. Having Ethan on the call yesterday or the day before,
Yeah.
that was phenomenal. Loved it. Um, so yeah, I rise up. I gain strength coming to the call.
Yeah.
But yeah, by the time we're done, yeah, I'm going to go into my living room and I'm going to hit the recliner button and I'm going to recline that baby back and I'll be there for the next 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
you know, um, but I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah.
It's my gift, but it's also my blessing.
Yeah. For both of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though today I showed up in my gym attire and my my hair in a bun,
Yeah,
and I just thought the show must go on.
absolutely.
And it doesn't matter about hair anyway. John was comparing
I
our
was going to
hairdo
say,
together today. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
I have a, I have a
we can't
couple.
we can't see it. Yeah, we can't see your hair
Yeah,
very good on here.
yeah. It's all good. You don't want to see it. So it ain't pretty, but,
Well,
you know, it's, it is a gift to, um, respond the way I want to respond,
mhm,
you know, the way I want to enjoy the rest of my time,
yeah,
whatever that time is. And I will tell you the one thing that I've been blessed with is time in
yes,
this journey. You
yes.
know, I mean, think about this, folks. Think about, I saw on, um, the news yesterday, you know, there was a post on Facebook from our news broadcast that shared about an accident that happened on the interstate, and that a husband and two of his children died in a car wreck.
Mm,
And I want to think of it like this: that gentleman did not have any time to say goodbye to anybody.
mm,
I'm going on 5.5 months since this whole journey started with me.
yeah,
I've had 5.5 months to spend with my wife, with my kids, with my grandkids, with business partners, with friends. I had my entire family in my house for Christmas.
wow. So special.
Oh, it was unbelievable. So I've been blessed with this time. And I go back to what Viktor Frankl said in his statement again. You know, it is that space that we have between stimulus and response. There is a space. In that space is our 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 power to choose our response. Don't give that power away to somebody else or something else. You keep that power. In that space is our power to choose our response. Remember, we talked about before you send that text, pause.
Pause. Yeah, that's
That's
what I
what
was
Victor's
thinking when
talking
you
about
said,
here.
yeah, when you said space, I took me back to when you taught us about pausing.
Yeah, exactly. In that space. And that word space is that pause that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Take that pause to choose our response.
Mhm.
And if we choose wisely, that response will bring us our growth and our freedom.
Right.
I don't know what more you could ask for there, folks, than that right there. Choose your response and let that response show you your growth and your freedom. It's what my wife Amy and I call living in the faith frequency.
Explain that a little more.
The one thing that I've realized that I've grown more than anything in this journey that I'm on right now is my faith. Okay. Now, I'm not that overly zealous religious person, but I am very spiritual. And here's what I've learned through this. My faith has brought me to where I am. My faith has given me the ability to do things that I've done in my life, which have been phenomenal. My faith, there's a lot of people out there that say faith is your belief in a higher power, your belief in God, your belief in the universe, call it whatever you want. I'm not here to tell you you're right or wrong either way. But for me, my faith is what I know is in me and what I can do with that space that Victor's talking about in this quote. My faith is what I know to my core that I can bring to the table in that space and share with beautiful friends like you guys. My wish is that lean on your faith to grow that space that you have. Choose your response. In that space is your power to choose that response. We go back to what Lori Ann and I have talked about for quite a while now. Do you want it to be positive? Do you want it to be negative?
Right. And there's power
It is.
on either side.
It is. Yeah, it is. If I'd have chose the negative side of this journey, this would have been ugly a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I chose to lean on my faith and to look at every day as a gift. I wake up every morning and I thank God that I'm awake another day. And then the very first thing I think of is, all right, what am I going to fill this space up with today? How do I want this space to be used today? I love the fact that it's my choice because it is. We all get that choice. So choose wisely. Just a thought.
Choose wisely. Just like your mom tells you, just choose wisely.
Yeah, no kidding. Very true. Very, very true.
And speaking of a great mom, you have a great mom that taught you some amazing things. I've heard about your mom. I've never met her, but I've heard about your mom. Oh, we get to see her.
Can you see her?
Yeah.
That's my mom.
Oh,
And yeah, she is a pretty powerful force. Um, She taught me a lot, that is for sure. But yeah, she's a very special lady in my life. Um, we've had some very unbelievably awesome time. Um, Christmas this last year was one of those where she came. She lives in Arizona now. I grew up in Iowa. And I always, I was like telling this story. I said, where I grew up, you know, I mean, to me, 8 inches of snow was a light dusting. Okay. I grew up where we didn't get too worked up until it got to about 14 or 16 inches deep. And then we went out and played in it. Okay. But so I lived in Iowa basically my whole life until I moved down to Missouri in the early 2000s. But my mom lived in Iowa until 2.5 years ago. She's 84 right now. So for 82 years, she lived in Iowa and dealt with all that snow. And about 2.5 years ago, she had to go to a store, and it was in the middle of winter. It took her longer to uncover the snow off of her car than it took her to drive to the store, go in the store, get what she needed, drive back home, and come back into her house. And she walks into her house and she tells her sister, I am so tired of this snow. And her sister looks at her and she says, then move. So they packed up their stuff and they moved from, because they both were living in central Iowa. They
Wow.
both, we moved them from central Iowa to Sun City, Arizona, which is a northwest suburb
Amazing.
of Phoenix. Well, needless to say, and if some of you don't live in Iowa, I know that Iowa right now is in the depths of some really cold temperatures. And I think they got some snow coming, or they've got some snow, or whatever the case is. But you know, I know they're good. They're supposed to get down into the like the single digits as far as temperature goes. And I was talking with my mom a couple days ago, and she said, "You know what? It's only going to get down to 36 here tomorrow night." Oh darn!
And no snow.
And no snow. Yeah.
That's right.
So yeah, she's enjoying, you know. But like we've said, this was a choice
Yeah.
that she made. And in that choice, I will tell you, this lady has grown so much in the last 2 years.
Wow.
She's done some phenomenal things out there in Arizona. I couldn't be prouder of her.
It's amazing what change will
It
do.
is.
Change.
It is. And when you think of that space and you choose your response to that space, that's all mom did. She had a space of time that had a whole bunch of snow involved in it. She chose to change her response. And she said, no.
Done. I'm not going to do this anymore.
Yeah. And so now she totally enjoys where she's living, totally enjoys what she's doing. She's does some work on the side. Um, she helps out in her community. She's got a rec center a block and a half from her home that has a what do they call those pools that you could aerobics pools?
So she can do water aerobics.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. It's a block and a half away from her home.
lovely.
Darn, you know. So yeah, but that was her choice
Yeah.
in response, between stimulus and response. That space was the space she had cleaning the car off of the snow, driving through the snow. She came home and she said, I want to change my response to that space. And they've been living happily ever after.
I love it.
So it's not what happens to us, folks. It doesn't have anything to do with what happens to us because you can't control that most of the time. But what you can control is how do you respond to that space? I've chose to respond to my space with an understanding that I am enjoying every moment that I have with every person that I have that moment with. And if I can help them become a better version of themselves or a better business owner or a better person in their community or any of those things, that's what I've chose to do with my space is offer my gifts to those that could use them. So, like we've said, we put out a lot of information for you guys, and we know sometimes it can be overwhelming. I get it. You got questions. Don't be afraid of them. And please don't think it's a dumb question. I've already beat you to those.
I've beat you to those dumb questions
You
too.
know, yeah. So write your questions in our comments or send us an email. We love getting emails from everybody asking us your questions, and we'll be more than happy to answer them on the air. So for that, Lori Ann, thank you for another wonderful time
Yeah.
of sharing, of giving of our gifts. For those of you that are listening, hit that subscribe button down there. And then that little bell thing. I always forget about the little bell. Don't forget to click on that little bell so you're notified when we have a new show coming out. But definitely subscribe to us, share our link with your friends. We know there's a lot of friends and family members out there. That's really what Lori Ann's vision of this came from. Was we have a lot of friends and family members that have young adults and teenagers that are struggling to find their true direction in life, to find their self-worth in life. And Lori Ann and I just feel like if we can help a little bit,
Yeah.
then that's worth our time. So thank you again. I appreciate all of you for listening, and look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow.
Yeah. See you next time.
All righty. Thank you again.
Thanks, John.
You betcha.